All right, let's have a discussion about a massive business credit card from Metro Credit Union. The maximum limit $50,000, $50,000, and all kinds of credit profiles are welcome. Bad credit, no credit, poor credit, average credit, fair credit. Everybody's welcome. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about a large business credit card from Metro Credit Union and the maximum credit limit, $50,000. Before I get into the actual discussions, please understand that we have not received any money from this credit union to do this video. We have no association, relationship, or affiliation to Metro Credit Union. This video is purely informative, educational, and instructional. Okay, let's talk about the credit card facts. So we're talking about the Visa Platinum Business Credit Card from Metro Credit Union. And this is really, if you think about it, this is a great card because this is an unsecured card, so no deposit required. The limits will fluctuate between the $2,000 to $50,000. The APR 8.99% to 18.99%. That's pretty good. And the speed of application review 1 to 3 days. So they have a very fast turnaround for a credit union, and we love that. And in terms of extra conditions, you gotta be a member of the credit union. One thing I want to say here is that this is a great card because they also have an introductory APR on balance transfers for 6 months. Okay, so this is pretty good if you want to monitor your expenses, you want to track purchases, you want to have a card that helps you build rewards at the business level. This card is fantastic. By the way, one thing I want to say here, this card is unsecured, okay, but they also have a secured business Visa card. So I just want to let you know that. And so in case you are interested by the Visa secured business card, that's if you don't qualify for the unsecured, you can qualify for the secured. And this is where your funds will be guaranteed by a Metro savings account. Credit lines will range from $1,000 to $25,000. And you do have a $45 annual fee. And if you have more information, you can contact Metro Credit Union at 1-877 My Metro, 1-877-696-3876. But again, in this show, we are going to focus exclusively on the unsecured Visa Platinum Business Credit Card. So let's talk about this lender. Let's talk about this credit union. It is, and so we're talking about here again, folks, we are talking about a massive business credit card from Metro Credit Union. The maximum credit limit, $50,000, minimum $2,000, right? All kinds of business credit profiles are welcome, and even personal credit profiles are welcome. Okay, so if you have poor credit or average credit or fair credit, don't worry, you could still qualify. So we're talking about Metro Credit Union. So they're actually based in Massachusetts in the beautiful city of Chelsea. And we love the fact that this credit union has been around for about a century. Okay, so they've been around for a while. And we love the fact that they are well managed. This credit union is well managed. They have about, as of 2021, they have about $22.5 billion in assets and more than 220,000 members. Okay, so you have to understand this is a great organization. And in terms of their products, in terms of their credit cards, their loans, their checking accounts, their savings accounts, we love the fact that in the last few years they've done a lot of work in terms of modernizing their offering, in terms of innovating. Their technology is up to notch right now. It's top notch rather. And if you look at the platform, we took a look at the platform, it's very user friendly. If you have the credit card, either at the business level or at the personal level, you have a monitoring tool that tracks your expenses, that tells you when the payments are due, that helps you monitor your credit score also. So they really have done a lot of work. So that's fantastic. And in addition to that, by the way, you don't have to live in Massachusetts. You don't have, I'll talk about membership later on, but just want to tell you right off the bat, you don't need to be affiliated with any organization in Massachusetts or Chelsea for that matter to qualify. Okay. And another thing I want to say is that we have actually evaluated Metro Credit Union on several criteria, including the credit card variety, the credit card amount, generosity, the cost, the reputation, and the customer service. And in our view, we believe this is a solid credit card. This is a solid institution. This is a solid credit union. So we assign the company a score of 9.5 over 10. Actually, it's not a company, but we assigned this organization a score of 9.5 over 10. I want to dig a little deeper into this card. By the way, folks, I'm speaking to you about the massive business credit card from Metro Credit Union. Maximum credit limit $50,000, minimum $2,000. Okay, all kinds of credit profiles are welcome. So when we talk about the Visa Platinum Business Credit Card, you have a card that is fantastic, but that card helps you a lot manage your business. First of all, you can actually have multiple employee cards with no cost, at no additional cost. You have an introductory APR on balance transfers for 6 months. This is really good, especially if you have debts that you want to consolidate right now and you just want to be able to have some breathing room for 6 months. That's pretty good, and the limit is kind of generous, $50,000. You have a choice of cashback or credit union rewards programs. You can also enroll your card in Visa checkout for a quicker way to when you're shopping online. This is really good, especially if you are in e-commerce, right? If your business, if you're selling online and you're doing the bulk of your purchases online, it's pretty good to have the Visa checkout. And this card has no annual fee. Okay, they're not charging you $40 or $90 or $200 or the kind of fees you get with the Amex card or those the Capital One or the Chase cards. Okay. And one thing I want to say here is that you also have with this card, you have global coverage. So if you are in a business where your employees or yourself happen to travel a lot, this card will be a great companion because it has global coverage. We're talking about 140 countries. This is really good. More than 450 international airports, more than 1,000 lounges, and more than 1,000 airport restaurants. So for us, really, this is pretty good because you don't have to. You actually have access to a large constellation of rewards and benefits and perks without paying the humongous fees that traditional banks charge, or traditional credit card issuers charge. So this is really good. So you have in terms of you have travel, entertainment, and experiences. You have special services also that comes with this Visa Platinum card. So everything from equipment rental to car rental to security services to legal assistance. This is really good. And most importantly for us, when we were testing the card, what we really love is the array of tools and settings. So I'm just speaking about purely from an accounting point of view or expense monitoring. This is really good. And the card can actually, the dashboard of Metro Credit Union can integrate very well into the kind of accounting software you have, whether you have QuickBooks Online or you have Xero or you have Wave or you have another software that you use. It can integrate very well with Metro Credit Union dashboard. Now let me talk to you about eligibility. Okay, so to be eligible for this card, there are a few things you need to do, and so let's first, again, folks, I'm speaking to you today about a large business credit card from Metro Credit Union. The minimum credit limit is $2,000 and the maximum $50,000. Okay, and the card is open to any kind of credit profile, and we're talking about the Visa Platinum Business Credit Card. So to be eligible, first thing is you need to have a member. You need to be membership. What am I talking about? You need to be a member. You need to have membership in this credit union. So normally, you are eligible for a membership at Metro Credit Union if you live, work, or have a place of business in Barnstable, Bristol, Essex, Middlesex, Norfolk, Plymouth, Suffolk, Worcester County, Massachusetts, or you are in Rockingham or Hillsborough County, New Hampshire. So if you are in those two counties, you qualify directly. But if you don't you just have to give them a call because it's very easy. And we've reached out to Metro, and they told us that it is very easy for nearly everyone in the country, no matter where they live, to qualify for membership. So you just have to call them up at 1-877 my Metro to find out if your employer is one of the 1,800 workplaces in Massachusetts or in the country that offers the benefit of Metro at work. Okay, so just call them up, and that's it. Now, most probably what will happen here is that you would simply need to donate $5 to a charity sponsored by Metro, and then open a savings account with $5. Once you do this, you should be fine. Now, in terms of to be eligible, your business must have been open for at least 1 year. Okay. In terms, they haven't put any revenue requirements, but based on our research and people we asked, they want you to generate at least $10,000 per month. And of course, you need to have all the you have an IT. Your company must be operating in the United States. If your company operates in Canada, they don't accept that. They used to, but now they don't accept it anymore. So it has to be operating in the United States. And another thing that they have mentioned is that they want to make sure that you have no derogatory items on your credit profile. So anything like repo or bankruptcy that has not been discharged for more than a year, this could be a problem, and also a charge off. So those are things you need to pay attention to. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation today about a massive business credit card from Metro Credit Union. And I'm very happy to talk to you about this card because the maximum limit is $50,000 and the minimum $2,000. And let's talk about the evidence needed. So to actually properly apply for this credit card, you have to supply a few pieces of evidence. So of course, first you need to complete the application form. Now the application form, you can do it online or through other means. I'll speak about that later on, but it's very straightforward. And on that application form, they're going to ask you about your company's revenue. They're going to ask you about your company's balance sheet, so your assets and liabilities, your current liabilities. Most importantly, they want to have an idea of your company's cash flows. This is really important also. For example, they might want to see a 30-day cash flow statements. They want to know more information about your company, who are the members of your management team, right? And kind of have a recap of the personal backgrounds of those individuals. So you can very easily provide that information through their resumes. And the evidence needed, another type of evidence needed is a business plan. So you got to have an updated business plan because they kind of look at that. For them, it's very important because a business plan, if you really think about it, it's just a recap of where your company was, where it is right now, and where it's going, right? So we're talking about retroactive, current, and proactive. Okay, so not proactive, it's more like forward looking. Yes. So they also want to have income tax returns, the business income tax returns. So for Metro Credit Union, this is an important piece of evidential matter. They want to have that. So the last 3 years of your business tax returns. If you don't have that, they would be okay if you have the personal tax returns for the last 3 years. And also your financial statements. So the full set, not just one or two, because a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of small business owners, when they apply for business loans, they just supply the 3 financial statements. So that is cash flow statements, balance sheet, and income statements. But you really also have to add the 4th one. That's very important. It is called a statement of stockholders' equity or the statements of owners' equity. This is where you sort of tell the lender, in this case Metro Credit Union, more about the composition, the ownership of the company, and also the kind of equity. You also have something called retained earnings in that particular statement that I just spoke about. And Metro Credit Union also might want to see some legal documents, such as articles of incorporation, articles of organization, right? Business licenses and registrations, and so on and so forth. I want to talk to you now about how to apply. How do you apply successfully? because again, the card is fantastic. I'm speaking to you again, folks, about a massive business card from Metro Credit Union, the Visa Platinum, maximum limit $50,000, minimum limit $2,000. Okay, and you can actually apply several ways. You can email them the application form. You can fax it over to them. You can complete the application online. If you are already a member, you see, the thing is you have to be a member first. That's why we couldn't do it, because you have to. That's why we couldn't show you the whole application process, because you got to be a member, and we're not a member. Okay, and we didn't want to go through the whole membership thing just for this show. But it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, so you can apply it over the phone. You can also apply it by visiting a branch if you are in the vicinity, or you can mail it in. What's very important is that in general, when it comes to credit union, credit card, business credit card applications, it's better to speak to someone first. Okay, you want to speak to someone first, and you want to, that way you have an idea of all the requirements. So you're not surprised when you show up at the branch and they tell you, oh, listen, sir or ma'am, we need additional information, and you don't have it, and you have to drive back to the office and get it. No, just talk to someone, have the conversation, explain your needs. They will tell you what they need, their expectations, and then you just put together the paperwork and you go there. So, but usually you're gonna have to provide some form of ID, right? So you have when you go to Metro Credit Union, you need to provide at least 2 forms of identification. And what they call this one there has to be a primary ID, and secondary has to be and then you have to have a secondary ID. So primary ID has to be a current driver's license with photo, Massachusetts ID with photo and signature. It must be valid for at least 30 days. A valid passport, a current resident alien card, or U.S. government or military ID with photo. Okay, so that's the primary. And then you have the secondary here, a major credit or debit card, student ID with photo, government benefits ID with photo, and payroll ID card with photo. And then, so the application is very simple. You go there, they will give you the form. The form will list anything that they will ask you about your business. They'll ask you about yourself, the owner. They'll ask about the business's financials, right? And that should be fine. That should be good to go. Now, let me give you a few pro tips. So if you want to successfully apply for this, again, I'm talking to you about this massive business credit card from Metro, maximum limit $50,000, minimum limit $2,000. There are a few things you need to do if you want to successfully apply here. I would say at a minimum, you need to be able to demonstrate, to show sufficient cash flow, because the Metro officers who are going to review your application, they're not really worried about your personal credit as much as they are about your ability to repay. This is not a loan, but to repay whatever you would have charged on the credit card, right? Because this is an unsecured credit card, which means that it's not secured, so it's not. You haven't deposited any cash to guarantee the quote unquote line they're extending to you. So you need to demonstrate that you have sufficient cash flow. That's number one. You need to actually have the right paperwork. You need to gather all your paperwork in order. You can keep them on the cloud, in other words, online, or you can keep them at the office, or you can keep them. On a USB card. Either way, you got to have them. And what I mean is, you need to have those paperwork, those documents, those foundational documents include articles of incorporation or articles of organization, the last 3 annual business tax returns, if applicable, the business bank statements. Okay. They might want to have your financial statements. This is important. I was talking earlier about demonstrating sufficient cash flow. The best way to do this is to present a clear statement of cash flows, which is one of the financial statements. All right. So this is a good way to do things. And one thing you also want to do is you want to think about whether or not they might need collateral. Usually, again, this is not a secured credit card, right? But in case you don't qualify for the unsecured credit card, you might want to ask them what the conditions are for getting the secured business credit card. Okay, and if that happens, then you might have to post some collateral to secure the card. It could be cash, it could be some kind of assets, but either way, once you contact Metro, they will just tell you everything. All right, folks, thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was talking to you today about a large credit card, a large business credit card from Metro Credit Union. And the maximum is $50,000 maximum line of credit, and the minimum line of credit is $2,000. So I spoke to you about the credit card facts, the issuer, Metro, in this case, the card in depth, the eligibility. We spoke about the evidence needed to apply and how to apply, and I give you a few pro tips. Thank you so much, folks, for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.